Well, President Barack Obama right there giving us a speech on the State of the Union, and we'll be discussing that a little bit later on. But let me take this opportunity to welcome you now to the lifestyle section of our program, Morning Express. Now, today we're going to be talking about emotional abuse, and it's a form of abuse that may not leave any physical scars on you. Somebody may not be able to look at you and see any physical scars, but that does not mean there are no scars that are left. And unlike physical scars that you can cover up with your clothes, emotional abuse leaves scars that are with you every single day of your life. They manifest in your word, your thought, and even your deed. The danger about it is that sometimes you may not even know that you're emotionally abused. And with me in the studio, I've got a clinical psychologist and a sociologist who we're going to be talking to in just a bit. But first of all, I'd like to talk to Janet. And Janet, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, maybe, yeah?
I'm very well, thank you. Now, Janet, you're one who has gone through emotional abuse.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, how did you first of all find out that you are actually emotionally abused?
For a long time, I had no idea I was being emotionally abused. But you see, it's just the way you feel useless, your self-esteem is extremely low, and you keep on feeling that you're doing everything wrong. Because the man I was married to kept on telling me, this thing like you're stupid, why did you do what you did? And you begin doubting yourself.
So at what point did you discover that you're actually being emotionally abused? Because initially you said that you didn't know. At what point what brought you to discover?
You have a circle of friends, you have people you talk to. But whenever I talk to other people, they were like, oh, you make good points, I like the way you're talking. But you see, back at home, everything I was saying was stupid. It didn't make sense, So I started thinking, what is it? Why is there such a big difference? Then I decided to go for a counseling class. That is when I started seeing that actually I was being emotionally abused.
Okay. You mentioned that while you are emotionally abused, that your self-esteem was dealt a blow.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
If you looked at me even then, I'm someone who's educated. I'm someone who came from a family that is a middle-class family that is doing well. I should have everything that everybody has, and I was working as well. But it didn't make sense that I would behave the way I would. At a certain point, I started keeping to myself. Yes.
Okay. And at this point now, would you say that your self-esteem was good before you got into the marriage, or was it
Yes.
the marriage that dealt with it?
It is the marriage that dealt with it. Because before getting married, I was quite a social person. I was a happy girl. In fact, I was known to be a happy girl. Then after that, I think 2 years down the lane, I would avoid people. I didn't want to communicate. I was quite moody most of the time, yes. Okay.
And this being the case,
yes.
Have you recovered?
I am recovering. Emotional abuse takes a toll on you. It's like you start relearning most of these social things after that.
What was your lowest moment now when you remember, now that you're recovering? What's the lowest moment you remember?
God, there are quite a number. But the lowest point I remember was this guy had this habit that if he had a problem, if he wanted to quarrel, he'd wait for you to start eating. So you see, as you start having food and someone is quarreling, you just can't eat. So you see, I would leave the food and start crying and all those things. And it really used to take a toll on me.
Okay.
Sometimes he'd come home and tell you, "Kwani, this food is not cooked well, there was no roiko," something like that.
Okay, let's go to the actual abuse Would he call you names? Would it start as an argument? Would it be a disagreement? At what point would it start?
Okay, mainly, like after some time, I think 3 years after marriage, this guy would even go and sleep out. So, like when he comes back with these issues like, I had to go out because I can't stand you, you are dirty,